All right, we're recording. So why don't you introduce yourself to the listeners of Demasked?
Sure. Hey, everybody. I'm Kim, or Tusk is my character's name, and I've been haunting for, I guess, since I was 15.
Oh wow, that's
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah. Where'd you get your haunt? Like, where'd you get your start in haunting, and what made you want to get involved in the haunted house industry?
It actually happened at a school carnival. My school was putting on a carnival, and it was in the high school, and I think I was in like middle school still. And upstairs, they had like this sign where it said haunted house, and I was like, oh, I want to check that out. And I remember going inside, and like there was all these like really well done rooms actually, like for being in a middle of a school. Like they had like some pretty decent props in there, and I was like, well, this is fun. And the guy's like, hey, do you want to like scare some people as they come through? And I was like, 100%. And they just gave me some, like, the typical black robe that you
Mm-hmm.
wear, and like this plastic smelly old mask, and they're like, just gotta jump out and scare people, just don't touch anybody. And I had a blast with it. I thought it was like the funnest thing ever, so I just kept coming back and kept coming back. And then I was like, I think I want to do this like at a real haunted house, and it kind of just kicked off from there.
Hell yeah! It sounds like you
Yeah.
have a very similar experience to get involved in the haunted house industry as I did, because I think I
Oh
was like
yeah.
13 or 14, and there was a flyer in at my school that said, the rec district was looking for haunted house actors, and that's
Yeah.
how I got involved with it. And I thought it was the coolest thing ever, and just kept coming back. So it seems like we kind
Yeah.
of have a similar backstory that way. That's really cool. What is some haunts you've acted at and stuff like that?
Well, the first one I really acted at was called like the Nightmare, and it was in Columbus, Ohio, and it eventually transformed into it was the House of Nightmares, and it was open for probably 14 years before they turned it into the Terror Fest. And
Oh,
that's where
okay.
I really started doing. They hired me as like the makeup manager, and so not only did I scare, but I also did all the makeup for like the entire haunted house by myself, which was a lot. I had like maybe 10 minutes a person, and I was like, what can I do with all these different characters and scenes in 10 minutes? And I was like, well, you can't go wrong with blood. So it was a good time. I used a lot of blood, a lot of latex. And I was there until they decided to close. They were going to take like a break, and they said they were selling the haunted house, and they wanted to come up with something completely different. But then they never did. There was like a year off where I was like, well, if I don't have anywhere to go, I'm just going to check out some local haunted houses, and that was how I ended up actually at the infamous haunted hoochie.
Oh, wow.
And I
Yeah.
was there for a long time. Yeah,
Oh, really? That's
yeah,
a friend of the show, Eric. He used to be on the show.
yeah,
But he's no longer a co-host. But yeah, he went out there this October, and I heard he had a blast. So, what was the
yeah.
experience like that, acting like that, like compared to out here in Colorado? You know?
Well, I definitely had to like keep reminding myself that I can't touch anybody, because
Yeah.
it was kind of like I knew I wasn't to touch anybody, and for years I didn't until I went to the haunted hoochie, and that's a very in your face type of place. Like it's intentionally designed to make you feel like, hey, these people in here might actually hurt me. Very controversial, like offensive.
Hmm.
Scenes. The first scene you see is a guy that puts a shotgun in his mouth, and then you have these big dudes that come out wearing almost nothing, and they grab you by the back of the head and they throw you through, and it's just like a bunch of heavy metal. There's a demonic abortion scene. There's a satanic church. A guy that's fucking a chicken. Am I
Cool.
allowed to cuss on here? Can I cuss
Yeah,
on
you
here?
can say whatever the hell
Okay,
you want. I don't
okay,
care, dude. We
yeah,
don't. It's for
yeah.
hunters, and we don't. A lot of us
Okay,
don't have filters, so
cool, cool.
I let people say whatever they want to say, and so whatever you
Okay,
want to
cool.
say, I'm more than happy with.
Right on.
Yeah.
But no, it was a good time. They're like, yeah, get in their face, and I was spitting in people's mouths and dragging people through the mud by their ankles, and I've never had so much fun in my entire life. And I was like, you guys gonna pay me for this? And they
Hmm.
were like, yeah, we'll pay you. And yeah, they paid me well, and I had so much fun. And then we moved out here to Colorado, and I went to Sinister,
Okay.
I remember going through the haunted house at Sinister, and of course I was wearing all my haunted hoochie stuff. And one of the, I don't know if it was a security guard or if it was one of the actors, but were like, "Hey, do you work at the haunted hoochie?" And I said, "Well, yeah, I did." And they're like, "Do you want to work here?" And I was like, "I mean, yeah, like maybe." Like I missed it. I couldn't just not be at a haunted house anymore. But I
Right.
knew immediately that I was going to have to kind of tone it down a little bit in terms of like what I was allowed to say to people, what I was allowed to do to people, even the makeup that I was doing. I
Mm.
couldn't do any like satanic type stuff, which was fine, but I needed to constantly remind myself not to do that so I didn't get myself in trouble.
Right.
Yeah.
No pentagrams.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, I've seen some really cool stuff from Haunted Hoochie, and it looks like the actors have so much fun there. This is so
They
intense.
do. They do. They get in trouble a lot. I think the whole town of Pataskala hates the haunted hoochie, but also they can't get rid of it because I mean the guy that owns it, he makes more money than the entire town in like 2 months. You know what I'm saying? So
Oh, really?
they've tried to shut him down, but they can't. They can't. He makes
So,
stupid money out there.
oh,
Yeah.
it's like a big booster to the economy there, then, huh?
Yeah, I mean, we have people from Germany that would come out like every night. There's like 4,000 people online, and I was like, "What is the buzz about this place?" Like hearing about it, I thought it was like all this just off the wall debauchery stuff. I was like, I don't know if I want to go in there because you hear a lot of like people talk trash about it, like, "Oh, the haunted hoochie is trash. You don't want to go there." Like they're all crazy, but like after a while, I was like, I need to see it for
Hmm.
myself. And in the first 2 seconds, I was hooked. I was like, "Oh, this is for me." Like this
Yeah.
is where I've been this whole time. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And people definitely seek out those experiences too, you know. They
Yeah.
want the more.
Yeah.
I think that's what makes things like 17 Door so popular.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen any of their advertising online or anything like that, but
I would love to go, but it's like I don't want to like leave. Like, how do you go when like you're working a haunt yourself? You know, I feel guilty if I miss a night. So I haven't been, but I want to check it out. I do.
yeah, I would
Yeah.
want to check it out too. And I feel the same way. Like I don't miss haunt unless I'm like dying sick, you know,
Right. Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
or something happens. But for the
Yeah.
most part, I think the last like 3 years I've had perfect attendance for haunt
Oh, nice.
because
Nice.
I, it's just like it's just my thing, you know.
Yeah. I
So
don't know what I would do without it, but I also know I can't come to work with Tusk all over my face. And it takes a couple days to get Tusk off. You know what I mean? All that
yeah,
stuff just sets in. And I work with kids with disabilities and kids on the spectrum and stuff like that. And I train new staff. And the one time I remember I came to work after a night at Hellscream. I think back when I was doing Sundays. Remember on Monday I came back and I still had some of the grime on me, and all the kids like, "Miss Kim, what's wrong with your face?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" And I looked in the mirror and I was like, "Oh my god,
yeah,
nothing. I just was playing outside."
right, yeah.
Yeah,
That's I know how you feel because not you know I work in the restaurant industry, and so
sure.
like I'm sure you know what mass casualty is, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I was a zombie 1 year, and
Yeah.
mass casualty is really hard to get out of your skin once it like gets in your pores. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? So my hands were still like red. And it was like one of those like
Yeah.
weekends where we had like 4 shows or something like that. The chef
Sure.
goes, Chris, come here. What's wrong with your hands? Did you not wash your hands? I was like, no, it's in my pores, like
It is a
so.
part of me now.
Yeah,
Yes.
I always get.
Yeah.
It looks like you're wearing eyeliner today. I'm like, yeah, because I didn't get home till late and I was tired.
Right. I look pretty. What are you talking about? Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Th- There's something that's different about that hot makeup though. It's like built tough to get off, you know?
I've come up with a couple concoctions to kind of get it off. I try to pride myself in being like one of the most disgusting looking creatures I possibly can out there. But and you would think being an outside actor that it would stay on your face a lot better because like you guys inside, you guys just sweat like profusely,
Oh,
you know
yeah.
what I mean? Like I did my time inside and it's just no matter how hard you try to get the makeup to stay on sometimes, the stuff that you want to stay on, you sweat off, but the stuff that you isn't as big of a deal, that stuff is just with you forever. But outside it's I sweat just as much as I did, but then I get the cold air.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm like, oh, now I'm hot. Now I'm cold. Layering. It's all about layering for sure.
right. Yeah. The first haunt I acted at was mostly an outside. There was like a small indoor like section. But it was mostly
Yeah.
like a haunted trail walk. It's Aftermath in Canyon City, so about an hour from here, and it's
How many haunts
mostly
have you done total?
three, three.
3. Okay.
So
That's cool.
yeah, so I did Aftermath, and then there's one year where a some people I know like knew like they were trying to put together like a small haunt. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
so I helped them like build some of the scenes, and I helped them like figure out some of the makeup stuff. And I helped do that for a year, and then I went to Hellscream. So,
Sure. And
but yeah,
Hellscream's been through like a lot of name changes too, right?
well, there's like the Hellscream building, but like Sinister's been through like Haunted Minds, what is Fear Complex now, which was the what's all in Fear Complex was once like three different haunted houses.
Oh, so it's always been two separate. It's been Hellscream and then Haunted Minds, which has had multiple names.
Right, but
Yeah.
yeah, but they were separate companies for a long time. They were separate owners, and then
Oh,
Hellscream eventually bought out Haunted Minds and bought out because where Sinister was originally in
yeah.
the over there off I think Academy in Palmer Park. I think that's where it's at.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, that originally was Gold's Gulch, and that was
Right.
owned by
Right. Right.
and there was like I remember there was like a really intense like weird tension between the two haunts
Yeah. Yeah.
before. And I think you went through Sinister, and I think that was the first year Hellscream owned that build or like owned that haunt because they
Okay.
changed the name to Sinister.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember everyone talking about how it used to be like actually in a mine shaft, or like was it like an old mining museum or something?
Yeah, so the original Haunted Mines was up by the mining museum over by like the Bass and Pro shop and stuff here in
Okay.
Springs. It's up there by the Air Force Academy. There's a mining museum, and that's
Oh, cool.
and then Hellstream just like bought everything and brought everyone together, which is cool now because everyone's
Yeah.
friends, and that's cool,
Yeah.
because I think more people like us need to be more of a community,
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. For sure.
because I don't know about you, but I enjoy haunt so much. I talk about all year round, and so it's nice
Yes.
to
Oh, yeah.
be able to uh, hang out and talk to people all year
Hmm.
round about it. And I'm sure you've said some off-color stuff at work to your coworkers about haunt and stuff like that, and they're just like,
I
"Hey, like, what are you
yeah.
talking about?"
Yeah, I I do try to tone it back a little bit. I'm not so much direct anymore. I used to be with the kids all the time, and I would just have direct session after direct session. But my wife and I now mainly do like the teaching for the staff, so I don't
Mhm.
have to be quite as filtered as I used to. You know what I mean? Like I would talk about like trying to get people to come to the haunted house, like while I was on the floor, like, hey guys, remember the haunted house is open, this weekend, come see me, like let me scare you. And the kids would be like, I want to go to a haunted house. And then the other kids would be like, is it really haunted in there, Miss Kim? And I was like, well, yeah, like there's real monsters in there. And they're like, well, why don't they eat you? And to some of the kids that like I was pretty close with, I'd be like, well, it's because Miss Kim, she has a monster there's a monster inside, so like they won't hurt me because I'm friends with all the monsters. I actually had a mom once ask me if I could explain to her kid where Ghost came from because her son happened to see an episode of like Ghost Adventures or something, and he was convinced that his house was haunted, and he wouldn't sleep, and she doesn't want to talk to him about it. So she's like, he won't shut up about Ghost. Can you just like talk to him about it and like tell him where you think ghosts come from? And I was like, sure, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that's
yeah,
cool.
yeah,
That's that's really awesome. You told them they come from the band Ghost.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Stupid.
I don't think they would know what I was talking about, but they never do. They're like, yeah, cool. They always disagree with whatever I say. So I'm like, all right,
Right.
well,
Because
cool.
yeah. Do you believe in ghosts? Like actual?
Yeah, I think so. It's hard to say.
Yeah.
Like, I've always kind of been into really weird and morbid stuff. When I was a kid, I was terrified of like everything. Like
Okay.
scary movies used to really scare me. But I've had night terrors since I was like 10, and it was almost kind of it was really Freddy Krueger that got me really into the scary stuff. I think because I also had nightmares, and then I kind of satiated myself on scary movies, and there was like this shift kind of that happened because after that I was like obsessed with Freddy Krueger and scary movies, and then I started getting really into like the paranormal type stuff. And there was actually a group of friends in Ohio that I used to hang with, and there was this elderly gentleman who was very into the supernatural and like Bigfoot and aliens, and he actually would pay for us to go stay the night at like abandoned prisons, and like he would like buy us all the equipment and we would do like the ghost hunting for him. He didn't
Hmm.
pay us, but he would like pay our way for a lot
Right.
of the stuff. And so we would do like the, the prisons and the overnights, like the haunted opera houses and stuff. It was pretty cool.
That is pretty
Yeah.
cool. That's really awesome. And those old prisons, they have a weird feeling about them too. Like
Yeah.
there's there's a prison museum in the town I grew up, Canyon City. It was the first prison on this side of the Mississippi.
Oh,
And
cool.
yeah, now it's a museum, and there's a wall there, and on the other side of the wall is like it's still an active prison.
Wait, I think we went there. Hey, babe, didn't we go to the prison museum in Canyon City? Where there was the story about the guy that actually was escaping prison while they were like people in the museum? Yeah, I went there.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
wild. That place has a
Yeah.
weird feel to it. And then there's another one I went to out in Wyoming one
Yeah.
time. Um, and that had a weird feeling too. It was just there's something about those like the I think it might have to do with like maybe the suffering of like
Oh,
the soul
sure.
saying like
Yeah.
same way hospitals, even active hospitals, you walk in there and
Yeah.
it's like a weird feeling. So maybe it has to do with like people suffering or something. I don't know.
You know
It's
where I
just
get a
there's
weird vibe from? Nursing
yeah.
homes.
Oh yeah, that's funny you
I
say
ca-
that. I work at a nursing home.
you do?
Yeah, yeah. I'm like
Oh,
their like dietary chef.
kudos to you, man.
Yeah,
I don't know if I could do it. No, I know I can't. I know I could not do that.
right.
I
Yeah,
could not.
it's why I spend a lot of my time in the kitchen though.
Yeah.
So of course I see residents and stuff like that and say
Sure.
hi. But yeah, I spend a lot of my time like cooking food and
Yeah.
making desserts and doing all that stuff.
So you make
So
good food. Okay.
yeah, I've cooked I think like for like 12 years or something like that. So
I'm a
and
terrible cook.
yeah.
I can't cook anything, like
Yeah.
at all. I can make
Yeah.
bacon.
Hey, that's everyone loves bacon, right? Can't go wrong with
Yeah.
bacon.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's cool though.
it's just like anything else. It's a skill. It's like acting. It's a skill. You can learn how to do it, you know.
Yeah,
So
I just don't like to.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like to do laundry, so like fold clothes.
I also hate laundry.
Yeah, it's the worst.
Dishes are okay for
Yeah,
some reason, but yeah,
right.
I
Yeah,
feel
I
that. I did
I
not know you
agree.
worked at a nursing home. That's wild.
Yeah, but I've worked at like Dos Santos Tacos and Tequila here
Yeah.
downtown in Springs, which is like over by Pilates and all that. I worked at Shrine Mountain Zoo before
Oh, cool.
COVID. I've worked at Phantom Canyon Brewing Company. I've
Yeah.
worked. I worked at Dave. I helped open Dave and Buster's here in Springs, so I worked there for like a month.
Yeah. I
So
need to get out more.
yeah,
I feel like I go to work, I come home, I play video games, and then during haunt season, I do that. But
during hot season, you haunt.
yeah, then I do that. Yeah, it's like I'm MIA for like a whole 2 months. But other than that, yeah, a lot of these places you're talking about, like everyone's talking about, like where was it that they were going after the season where Angie was trying to get people to come with her for like
Oh,
appearances?
I know what you're talking about.
Some bar, I thought there
Yeah,
was
I
like
can't
a
think.
deal that we had, Copperhead or something,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. It was
Okay.
Copperhead. Yeah, that's not really my scene. If I go out, I like to go to like breweries and like
Yeah.
chill places.
What is
So
Copperhead? I've never been there. I don't even know what it
it's
is.
it's like a nightclub. It's like a country nightclub.
Oh, I don't do country. Okay. I
Yeah,
would. Okay. So I'm glad I didn't go. All right.
yeah. So how'd you come up with your like character Tusk?
Oh, Tusk really developed at the Haunted Hoochie. Pretty much, yeah. Before then, I was just because I was doing so much makeup, I didn't have really time to put myself together, so I would just wear a silicone mask. But when I transitioned to start working at the Haunted Hoochie, I noticed there was kind of like a theme.
Hmm.
It's kind of like at least my perspective of it is kind of like that. Yeah, they have like some kind of more fantasy type rooms where there's more kind of fantasy type characters, but the majority of the haunted house, because there's two haunts, there's the main haunt and then there's Bad Trip, which is supposed to be like a bad acid trip where they have a bunch of clowns and
Oh
3D
wow.
stuff. But the main haunt where I was, it was kind of like the Devil's Rejects, House of a Thousand Corpses meets The Hills Have Eyes type of thing. So it was all like we're
Okay.
cannibalistic cousin fuckers. Like it was all like it's supposed to be like that type of vibe, and everyone just kind of played off of that with each
Okay.
other. And my scene was in the graveyard. So you would have this spot outside before me where they had chainsaws that would spark up against the fence. And the wild thing about the haunted hoochie is they were real chainsaws, and they would touch you with them. They would like take the blade off and wrap the metal part with like this black styrofoam and
Okay.
duct tape, but they would like throw you on the ground, and they would like run it up your legs, and like they would touch you on the face with it. And so everyone was always so worried coming through that people would just run and run and run until they got to my scene where this big like Grim Reaper thing would come up. It was like a facade hill, you know what I'm saying? And
Right.
I would press this button when I would hear the chainsaws. That was my cue. And I'd look out this little hole and I'd press the button for the Grim Reaper. And you have all these people sprinting towards you, and they stop dead in their tracks because there's this huge Grim Reaper thing above them. And while they're all like, oh, wow, look at that, I'm like picking out who it's going to be. And I come out of this grave kind of a little bit above everybody. And my thing was just to grab you by your face and try to pull you like into this hole with me. And if I could get a hold of you, I would hold on to you and try to pull you in. But if you happened to get away, there was this other door where I could come out and be face to face on the ground with you. And then I would chase you to the big semi-naked guys with the
Okay.
chainsaws. And I was just filthy all the time because we were open rain or shine, 8 p.m. to 2 in the morning. And there was just mud and stuff. And like I was caked all over me. And so I kind of already had that Tusk kind of look to me.
Right.
But the person that actually named me was Dom
Okay.
here at Hellscream, because he's like, "What's your character's name?" And I was like, "Everyone's always just called me the Creeper." And Dom was like, "No, we have to have a better name than that." And we were hanging out on a slow night once, and he's like, "I have it." And I was like, "What?" He looks at me and goes, "Tusk. Your name's
Yeah.
fucking Tusk." And I was like, "Yeah, yeah, man, my name is fucking Tusk." And then
Right.
it just kind of was that was it from there. Yeah, yeah,
That's cool. Dom's
yeah.
a cool guy. I need to have him on here. That'd be cool.
Oh, he's
Yeah.
great. He's a trip and a half. Yeah, we
Yeah.
connected instantly. Yeah,
Yeah. He's
yeah,
I think he gets along with a lot of people. He's just a likable guy. you know.
yeah. He's really funny.
Yeah. So that's awesome. What were some of your challenges like with like at the Haunted Hoochie having like so much like contact with people? Uh
Oh, okay. Yeah, I have a few. Well, the first one was I had to learn how to layer my clothes to like where I could get really sweaty and I could take on and take off layers as I needed to, so I wouldn't get sick. So the first season I was out there was pretty rough. It was pretty rough because I didn't really know. I was in the spot where like it would rain on me, and after the first season of like getting really sick and getting wet and just being thirsty all the time, I ended up like having this setup where I would get like a tarp. I asked the owner, I'm like, can I like put a tarp up over where I am so I don't get drenched all night? And he's like, yeah, absolutely. Here's a bunch of zip ties. So I had like my lawn chair, my cooler, my water. I had all my snacks and everything. And so once I got the layering part down, then it was just a matter of getting hit in the face a lot.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
You did
But
get
I
hit a lot.
deserved it every time. I
Oh yeah.
deserved it every single time. I mean, I was spitting in people's mouths sometimes, you know what I
Right.
mean? Which looking back on it, I was like, damn, thank goodness that happened before COVID.
Right.
Like that's an assault. I'm pretty sure that's actually an assault.
right. Well, I mean, they signed up for it. They bought the ticket. They know what they got themselves into.
Yeah, there's a waiver on the ticket. That is true, but it was always like the bigger guys that would like the girls were easy to scare. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you can tell, like who's
Right.
going to be the
Yeah.
good scare, and sometimes I would intentionally go for the bigger dudes that always would come through like, you can't scare me, and I wouldn't try to scare them necessarily, but I would try to like gross them out, and they're the ones I would like lick
Yeah.
like on the
Okay.
face, or I'd like spit in their mouth and stuff, and they would just be so like uncomfortable with it, and they couldn't also figure out like, is that a chick, is that a guy, like they weren't really sure, you know what it
Yeah.
was. And yeah, yeah, it was funny. Yeah,
That's that's awesome. Yeah, because even at Hellscream, I always like to pick on the people who don't seem phased by anything, and
yeah,
so I always like to make them laugh or get some kind of reaction out of them. That's my
yeah,
favorite thing to do.
yeah,
Or uh, you know, just like people acting a fool. Like if there's a
yeah.
problem group, I hear it on the radio and I can't wait till they get to me. I love
Oh,
problem
right.
groups.
Oh, they're the
They're so
best. They're
much.
the
They're
best.
so much fun.
Yeah. I'm never like worried, I mean, I would get hit in the face a lot, but I get hit in the
Yeah.
face a lot at work too. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? I teach crisis management. Like, I get aggressed at all the time, so it was never really a big deal for me. The only times where I was ever actually afraid was the one time, because, Ohio State versus Michigan, it's
Right.
like a big thing, and we rarely lose. Okay. But I remember one year, Michigan did beat us at home, and because we're open so late, you know what I mean, people would be come through just completely shit faced. And if we happened to ever lose a game, especially if it was to Michigan, people were extra belligerent, a lot more hands-on and violent. But all I would have to do was wave my hands a certain way in front of the camera, and security was there in like seconds. So
That's awesome.
yeah.
That's awesome. So I'm sure they take security and safety very seriously out there,
Oh
you know?
yeah, yeah. They
Yeah.
definitely promote a free for all, fuck it, type of attitude. Like they want you to feel like it's a free for all, fuck it type attitude, where they're like, oh, there's no security. This is just a huge party. You can do whatever they want. Like they want you to have like that sort of mentality about it. So you go in not really wondering what is going to happen to you and if you're going to be okay or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've brought it up, to the powers that be at Hellscream and stuff like that. I feel
Yeah.
like sometimes some of our actors are like trying to crucify people for such minor things. They're there to have
Yes.
fun. And it's
Hmm.
like, hey, calm the hell down. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
it's fine. It's
Yeah. It's
fine. If they
okay.
don't
Yeah.
seriously injure anybody, it's fine.
Yeah.
So what they touch the painting on the wall?
Yeah.
Whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
just have fun. Don't worry about what they're doing.
Yeah. Eric and I, we kind of came up with our own little buddy system back there outside, because we get messed with quite a bit back there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, to get past me in that tunnel, like first of all, I can't really see you. You know what I mean? There's the four strobe lights directly in my eyes, and then you have all this fog, and there's this little walkway. Like you pretty much have to graze my tits to get
Right.
past me. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I would have a few customers that like would get a little handsy, and I don't know who's in front of me. You know what I mean? But did I ever like tell on anybody? Like no, I didn't ever feel like I was at risk. And if people did do something messed up back there, we would just laugh it off. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's part of the thing is just having fun with it,
Yeah.
even if something does happen. So
Yeah.
just have fun with it.
Yeah. You
Make
can't change it, you know?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And make the other people feel weird about it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
So that's I don't know. I was just like, yeah, because I never felt unsafe and stuff. And
No.
I know you. I don't know if you ever see me act or whatever up there, but like sometimes by the time they're done with me and they come down to you
Yeah.
guys, they're like, "Shut the hell up, leave us the hell alone," you know?
Yeah.
Because like
Yeah.
if you make yourself a target, I'm coming after you.
Oh
And
yeah. Yeah.
especially I feel like I have pretty good improv and ways to talk shit really fast.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's been several times I know, like for instance, this last season, um, this dude like blew me a kiss.
Sure.
He's with his girlfriend. He thought he was being cute, and he blew me a kiss, and I was like,
Yeah.
"I bet you won't kiss me right on my lips. Kiss me on my lips." Then it
Did he
made his
try?
girlfriend, yeah, yeah. So I made him because I wear that double sided mask. So I
Yeah.
made
Yeah.
that dude kiss my second lips on the backside of my head,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it made his girlfriend so jealous. It was the funniest thing to watch.
Really?
Yeah,
That's ridiculous. That's even more ridiculous.
and his
That's
girlfriend
even
was
more
like, "Why
ridiculous.
would you do that?" So funny.
Why didn't you do that is the question. Why didn't you do that?
Yeah, why was he blowing me kisses?
That's a question you guys got to talk about on the car ride. Yeah, for real.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but what is some like crazy instances like that, that's happened to you? Like,
Let's see. Oh, one time this this was actually at the Terror Fest. There was one time where they called me the shovel guy. Like I've always had a shovel. Like I've
Okay.
always had a shovel, except for when I was at the Haunted Hoochie. But I would be outside and I would like scare the line and stuff. And there was this girl that came through and it was her birthday and she was dressed up like a birthday cake. And I just remember her being really drunk to the point where she could barely walk. And they didn't end up letting her go through because they were afraid that she would like hurt herself because she could barely stand up. You know what I mean? And
Right.
she was just super pissed. She's like, it's my birthday. I want to go through. You can't tell me that I can't. And like, you could just tell like it was getting kind of heated. She wasn't doing anything wrong necessarily, but because they wouldn't let her go through the haunted house in my ear set, they're like, hey, Kim, can you come out here and just give her one scare to like maybe chase her to her car or something? Or like just give her one scare so she'll be willing to leave because she's really mad. We're not going to let her go through. And so I kind of come out around this porta potty and I spark my shovel and I scare her and she turns around and she was like, what the hell was that? And she turns around and she looks at me and she was like, hey, shovel guy. And one of my actor friends over here was like, actually, that's not a guy, that's a chick. And she looks at me and she's like, what? Like, that's actually a girl. And I don't care, like, whatever. But she did not believe my friend that this woman actually came over and like grabbed two handfuls, grabbed my boobs and was like, oh my God, you are a girl in there. Hey,
Wow.
hey, do you, she's like, hey, do you have a tampon? And I was like, I broke character. I couldn't breathe. I was like, what? And she goes, I've been looking forever. Do you have a tampon? And I was like, no. She she goes from being scared to confused to, hey, do you have a tampon? And I was just like, I was speechless. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what to do. Yeah. That was a pretty wild time. There was one time where a customer at the Haunted Hoochie, like I don't know if she twisted something or broke something, but after my scene with the two big guys and the chainsaw, she did something. Something happened, and we actually had to pause the show. So you had a huge Congo line through my scene where no one was moving. Like
Oh
the
wow.
ambulance had to come in, but there was this huge Congo line, and they were there for over 45 minutes, just stuck, not moving in the haunted house because there's like thousands of people that
Right.
are going through, and the line just kind of stopped. And after I already came out, like everyone that was there like knew I was in there. You know what I mean? People are drunk, they're getting frustrated, so they're actually trying to open the hatch to where I was in there. And I did a
Right.
pretty good job of holding it closed for the most part. But it
Right.
got to the point where I was afraid if I kept holding it that they would break it. And
Right.
so I was like, I'm just gonna have to dip out. And so I let go of the hatch and I kind of ran back over to the side, but they were like trying to come into the scene. Like they were trying to climb back into the area where they weren't supposed to be. And my waves at the security camera, they were
Yeah.
busy with all the other things that were happening. And I was like, oh man, these people are belligerent and they're getting back to where they can reach me. I don't know what to do. So I kind of climbed through to the other side where they had the semi naked satanic nuns. And I just hid
Okay.
under the pew of the church.
That's cool.
I just hid there. Yeah. Yeah.
Semi-naked satanic nuns. It sounds right up my alley.
Oh, sure. Yeah, they had the combat boots, the fishnets, no shirt,
Nice.
but little electrical tape on their nipples, and usually the
Right.
upside down
Because God forbid if
cross.
anyone sees a nipple, that's just over the line.
Sometimes they would go without anything at all on
Yeah.
their chest, but yeah, everyone loves the Satanic Church. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. If
that's
you
where the
don't,
fire
then
is. They have fire.
oh, okay. That's cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
That's crazy though. And you had that many
yeah.
people and they're trying to like get into your that's wild.
Usually Fridays and Saturdays are pretty. That's why they have to stay open so late, though, is because so many people. From what I've heard, I don't know if it's how to fact check it, but the Haunted
Hmm.
Hoochie's been going for over like 35 years, and to my knowledge, it's one of the first like extreme hands-on, haunts in the United States. So I think that's one of the reasons that their their reputation has kind of come to be what it is because it was like the first place with like, oh yeah, they'll touch you there. You have to like sign, this waiver. It's a lot of like controversial type of scenes and messaging, that goes through there. So, and I think the owner likes it that way. Like there's no such thing as bad press. The more
Right.
hated, like people talk about it, the more people are like, well, I gotta come out and see it. If it's really that bad, like I gotta come
Right.
see what this is all about. Yeah.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's I think that's a famous Vince McMahon quote. Any
Yeah.
press is good press, bad or good.
That's right.
So,
Mm-hmm.
because that's
Yeah.
yeah. Anyway, so
Yeah.
that man, like, just genius. Like the way they're able to promote all this wrestling and stuff like that. It's just
Yeah.
genius. Anyway,
No,
but
I have brothers that were wrestling fans. I know who you're talking about.
yeah, just
Yeah.
smart man.
Yeah.
Whether
But
people
I have
like to
stories
admit it
for
or not,
days.
And
Yeah.
I think that's show business. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's pretty fucking cool. And I would love to talk to like someone that does pro wrestling because I think that'd
Yeah.
just be cool to talk to somebody that knows the behind the scenes and the workings and
Oh,
all
sure.
that
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
So that's crazy. Yeah. Do you have any like, bucket list haunts you'd like to go see out there? Or
Well, I've always wanted to go for, well, I was one of those believers, everyone was looking for the haunted hospital. I was told the same story that everyone else was, that there's this haunted house that if you make it through, you get your money back. And they throw people out windows, all sorts of crazy stuff. So for the longest time, that was on my bucket list until I found out that it doesn't actually
right.
exist. And then part of me was like, well, what's the next most extreme thing? And then I was, for a minute there before I really knew what it was, of course I was like, well, I want to go through McCamey Manor. And then I found out what it actually was. I'm like, oh, that's not even a haunted house. That's
Yeah.
just a weird guy that likes to get off by recording people going through,
Being tortured.
essentially being tortured, like waterboarding and stuff. And I was like, oh no, I don't want to do that. But I heard Blackout. I think Blackout would be cool. I want to go to 17th floor. Um, any of the more
Okay.
extreme ones. I mean, anything. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
Blackout's wild. I've heard some wild stuff even online. Because I think
I
they
think,
have one. There's one in LA and one in New York, right?
yes. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a wild experience. That'd be cool though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something about what caught my attention was they were saying how they had a lot of male actors that did like full frontal nudity in some of their
Uh huh.
scenes. And I was like, well, what kind of scenes like are those? Like what's actually gonna happen. And one of my friends from the Haunted Hoochie actually went through Blackout, and of course, you always wear your haunt stuff when you go through another haunted house, of course. And they told the people at the ticket booth, like, "Hey, we're here from the Haunted Hoochie. We want the balls to the wall experience." They came out with a black eye, a busted lip, like they beat the shit out of them in there. But they were like,
Yeah.
it was so much fun. And I was like, all right, yeah, like I want to go do that.
Right on. The
Some
uh,
naked guy kicked my ass. Yeah.
yeah. All right.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome. Did people get bumped and bruised up at Haunted Hoochie a lot, or what was
Oh
your
yeah.
experience with that? Yeah.
Like customers and staff both. Yeah.
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 Knee
Just because it's
pads and elbow pads.
outside. Yeah. He doesn't take any of it down. So it's like he owns all this property, and in the front of it is like, his house. And then the whole back of it is just the haunted house. And there's the majority of the scenes, especially the ones that are outside, he doesn't like take it down. Like he lets the weather do what it does, and everything is like rusted and dirty. Like I'm afraid to touch some of the outside stuff because I'm like, I don't want to get tetanus. You know what I mean? Like he doesn't take a lot of it down ever. Like he wants it to look as nasty and real as possible. So yeah, you definitely like not steady footing. If it's muddy and rainy out, like you're bound to trip and fall
Yeah.
if you're not like watching, where you're going. But it just kind of adds to the experience. Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's been times where I've tripped and fell in Hellscream, so it happens.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I never know where I'm going in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
how upstairs they've got like the section, like the ropes upstairs to show people where they're going.
Oh, I trip
There's
myself
been
every time.
Yeah, there's been times like I'm like
Yeah.
mid character coming after something and I like miss my step and it's like
Hmm.
almost eat shit right in front of them. It's so funny.
Yeah. I don't know how like Chelsea and uh, Dolores like crawl and do all that through there. Like I wouldn't be able to see where I was going at all. And they're like skimming through there like it's nothing. It's wild. Yeah.
Yeah, it is wild. It's yeah. Yeah, it's wild. It's a lot of fun though. I wouldn't replace it for anything, but I'm
Yeah.
excited. Something that I'm gonna go to Dark Hour for their Valentine's Day event. So I'm really excited to go see another haunt and what they're doing on their Valentine's Day event. I think that's gonna be cool. So
Oh yeah, when's that happening again? Like the
the
ninth,
health yeah, it's something like that. Or the 10th. I think it's on the 10th. It's at Fear Complex.
the 10th. Right. Right. Yeah. Fear
Yeah.
Complex is like right there. It's in like walking distance of my house.
Oh, okay. Did you come to the
Yeah.
Christmas event?
No, I didn't. We were up in Denver. We kept going back and forth for training. I was hoping to come out and act, but I never got back in time.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, it was cool. I took my straight jacket and I wrapped it in Christmas lights
Yeah.
and like Christmas tree garland. I got the cheap Christmas lights at the dollar store that you can like put double A batteries in and it lights
Yeah.
up. Yeah, so
Well,
I
hey, at
was
least you
running
could probably
around.
see better.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
There
Like,
was
well, I can
Christmas
see.
lights though throughout the haunt, so that made it easier to see.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Yeah, Christmas lights helped. So
Yeah.
yeah, cool stuff. So how many years have you been haunting then, like total, would you say?
Let's see. I'm 36. So 36 minus 15 is.
Like I'm terrible with 36. I don't know, I'm terrible with math. But yeah,
Yep.
you've been at it for a hot minute.
A minute. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Hell yeah.
I don't know
That's
what I
cool.
would do if I didn't. It's kind of like I
Right.
feel like I save up all of like the bullshit that happens throughout the year, the work and life frustrations. I kind of tuck all that away for the whole year, and then when October rolls around, it was kind of like, this is
Yeah.
my moment, and I just purge
Let
it
it
all
all
out
out.
on the people coming through the haunted house. Yeah,
Yeah, and honestly, I feel the same way. Like, let it all out
yeah,
during that time and that and
you
heavy
have
metal
to.
shows. I love going to see heavy metal bands play.
Oh
So,
yeah,
yeah.
who do you
I'm
like?
all well, I like all anything that's heavy. Anything that's
Okay,
like anything that's aggressive and heavy. Like I've seen like my battle vest that's behind me here. It's a Guar vest, so I've seen Guar a bunch of times.
oh, that's
Um,
cool.
I even like classic like Slayer. I seen them 3 times before they retired. I
Oh,
seen
right on.
yeah, I've seen a bunch of bands. Uh, I'm into death metal. I'm into all that stuff. I've seen Cannibal Corpse play. I've seen
Oh,
my
cool.
favorite death metal band, Dying Fetus. They're sick. They're just like a
I'll have
super
to check that
brutal.
out.
Yeah, they like really like they've been playing death metal for like 30 years, and um they kind of like pioneered like deathcore and stuff like that.
Oh,
They're
that's sweet.
super brutal band, and there's only 3 guys in that band, and what they can do musically just with the
Yeah,
three of them is
yeah.
wild.
I
Because
bet.
one guy drums, the other guy plays guitar and does vocals, another guy plays bass and does vocals, and that's it. That's the
Yeah,
whole band. It's
yeah.
wild what they can
It probably just
accomplish.
sounds like chaos, huh?
Yeah, but it's really good. A lot of their riffs sound like they're, especially in their new albums, a lot of their riffs sounds like they're making circles, if that makes sense. So
I'm intrigued. What's it called? Fetus?
they're called Dying Fetus.
Dying fetus. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
I mean, it
yeah,
sounds up my alley, so
yeah. If you like that, like Cannibal Corpse or the Black Dahlia Murder, or any of
yeah,
those like
yeah,
Obituary, any of those bands, definitely check them out. Dying Fetus more like pioneered like the more extreme side of death metal, if that
yeah,
makes sense. So
sure.
deathcore and stuff like that probably wouldn't be around if it wasn't for that band because they
As long
were
as it's not
doing
country, I'm into it. So
yeah
yeah,
same but yeah
I just can't.
it shocks me that how many people that do haunt and don't listen to heavy metal because it's like a ritual for me to listen to some like
Yeah,
super fucked music before I come in there,
yeah. I mean, I like
so
heavy metal. I listen to a lot of like dubstep type of stuff too, and
okay,
mainly it's because I'm like I have really bad ADHD, and I
okay,
like to go like to with all the lights and the lasers. I love lasers. I love lasers. I'm like, ooh, lights. You know what I mean? Like I love
right,
the lasers and the fog and the smoke and all that. But there's some there's some decent EDM artists that like mix like horror and like some like metal stuff, and that's usually what I listen to like to get myself pumped up and ready to go through the haunt. But if you like metal, you should totally check out the Haunted Hoochie, because that is, they kick it up to the highest volume throughout the entire haunted house.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's yeah, and from what you're telling me about it, that's what I gathered. Like they're about that, and that's really
Oh
cool. Because
yeah.
I enjoyed the super like
Yeah.
satanic bands as well, and
Yeah.
I even enjoy stuff like Ghost BC,
Yeah.
um, and
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of bands play, and I've seen Ghost twice, and both times are like in my top two favorite like
Oh yeah.
concerts ever, just because their
Yeah.
stage presence is just so crazy. Like I don't know if you know
Yeah.
anything about them, but
I do. Well, actually, one of my bucket list bands that I would like to see. My wife would never go with me to it, but I love Devil Driver.
okay.
I would love to see Devil Driver um, play live for sure.
Okay, yeah, I've seen Devil
Yeah.
Driver. They were here with Cradle of Filth last year.
Oh, were they? Well, I missed
Yeah,
that one. Okay.
yeah, yeah. They were
Damn.
here with Cradle of Filth, which was sick. I got sick before that show. Like I wasn't quite sick, but I was like I
Yeah.
felt it coming on, so I was like
Yeah.
so miserable during that show. So, but I was so glad I went because
Yeah.
Devil Driver was really good, and Cradle of Filth was one of those bucket list bands.
Oh,
So
sure. Yeah.
yeah, the
Yeah.
way that guy does his vocals is just so insane. He's got that.
They kind of remind me of Goat Horror a little bit.
Okay, yeah, yep. I've
Yeah.
seen Goat Horror. Yeah, they're sick.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I remember the first
Well,
time I heard that, I was like, wow, this is all right. Okay.
yeah, first heard them. They opened for Venom, and that's how I found out about Goat Horror. I went to go see Venom and
Oh,
Toxic
cool.
Holocaust, and they opened for that, and that was
Yes.
sick.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's how I find out about a lot of bands is actually going to see the bands play because
Sure.
then you find yeah. Anyway, yeah, it's like I feel like there's a lot of connection like between horror and like metal. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Especially like the more extreme side of things. It gets pretty dark and brutal. So
If you like, not it's not metal at all, but there's this artist that I happened to stumble across on TikTok of all things. Skits Craven is
okay,
his name, and he's more of actually a rap artist, but the topics and the things that he is rapping about is some of the darkest
okay,
things. Like it's pretty messed up, but like I'm into it. Like I
I'll have to
immediately
check
was
that
like, I'm
out.
obsessed with this. Yeah, it's some pretty deep, twisted stuff. It kind of like takes you inside his mind a little bit, but it's not metal at all. It's more of a
Yeah,
rap, but it's awesome. Yeah,
that's cool.
yeah,
I mean, I like
yeah,
some rap too. I'm not like a metal elitist by any means, but yeah, I like some
sure,
rap. So I'll have to check that out. That
yeah,
sounds cool because I like Suicide Boys and stuff like that. That stuff's
yeah.
cool too. So
It's
yeah,
hard not to like it. Yeah.
yeah, what is your like favorite horror movie of all time?
Oh, A Nightmare on Elm Street.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's awesome. That's a classic. There's John
yeah.
Carpenter's,
My whole left arm is just all Freddy Krueger. I actually met him, and Robert Englund signed my arm, and I got his autograph tattooed into my arm forever.
Oh, wow. That's
Yeah,
awesome. That's
I was like, look,
dedication.
yeah,
It's
love
dedication.
Freddy
Yeah.
Krueger. Yeah,
That's awesome. Mine's Halloween, like the original
yeah.
Halloween. That's one of my favorites. That one and I really like Evil Dead. Like Evil Dead 2
Oh,
is just
yeah.
so
Bruce
good too.
Campbell is my hero. Yes. I saw him, actually, I met him it was the stupidest thing. They had this outside theater in Ohio, and
Okay.
he was the leading role. It was called Shane. It was a Western, and for some reason, Bruce Campbell was casted as the leading man, and we were in Johnny Rockets. If you've ever been to Johnny Rockets before, and there was pamphlets on the table, and I was like, "Is that Bruce Campbell's face?" I was like 12 or 13, me and my best friend, and they're like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Oh my god, it's happening this weekend!" And they bought us tickets, and like the first 50 people that purchased his book, If Chins Could Kill,
Yeah.
Confessions of a B movie actor, then you got to do like a meet and greet. So I actually got to meet him, and I was like,
What?
I'm such a big fan. He was really cool. Like I love that you like Evil Dead.
Yeah. What?
Yeah.
That's dude. So jealous of you right
Oh, I
now.
was so lucky. It was so weird. I
Yeah.
was like, "What are you doing in this play?" Like, I couldn't make the connection, but I didn't care. Like, I was not there to see this Western. I just really
Right.
wanted to meet Bruce Campbell, and for some reason, he was
Yeah.
there doing it. I don't know.
Bruce
Got
Campbell is
lucky.
he's an American treasure.
He
He's
really
he's so
is.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
just recently found an Instagram page that's like fans of Bruce Campbell United or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's just like
Yeah.
Bruce Campbell memes and it's so funny. They're making
Yeah.
public service announcements. It's pretty funny.
Well, I loved that they did the Evil Dead with like such a low budget. It was actually it was a mixture of the Evil Dead and Ginger Snaps that got me into doing special effects makeup. Have you
Okay.
seen Ginger Snaps?
I haven't seen that.
It's a Canadian film about it's like a werewolf movie about
Okay.
these two sisters, and one of the opening to the movie is actually you see these different death photos. It was like a school project that they did, and I
Okay.
remember watching that and having my dad's old Polaroid camera, and my best friend and I were sitting there, and I was like, dude, I bet you we could do that. And we had like the eyeshadow and
Mhm.
a bottle of fake blood, and we tried to mimic the death shots that they did in the movie. And I was like, this is actually a lot of fun. And so I started doing like special effects with like nothing. And
Okay.
then we watched Evil Dead and saw what an awesome job they did with such a low budget. And I was like, dude, we should do this. Like, and we just would always be like messing around with her little video camera and trying to make these scary, gory scenes or like these scary, gory pictures and like doing these stupid little 5 to 10 minute skits. We did a spoof off of Miss Cleo,
Okay.
the old uh, like the psychic, like the phone call psychic. We did like a
Uh-huh.
stupid spoof off that, and it was a blast.
That's
It was a
awesome.
blast. Yeah,
Wow. That's cool. I
yeah,
I've dabbled a little bit in the makeup side, but I don't think it's really for me, but I've dabbled in it and it's a lot of fun.
it is. Yeah,
Yeah. And the crazy thing about Evil Dead, the thing I like about Evil Dead is just like so over the top sometimes. It's just like so over
yeah,
the top gory sometimes. And that's
yeah.
truly what I like about it. It's just so ridiculous
Yes,
sometimes.
yeah.
Like
Remember
especially
when
in what is it? The can't think of it. It was
Army of
on
Darkness?
no, it was a TV show they did called it was called Ash versus the Evil Dead. There's 3
Oh, yeah,
seasons
yeah,
of
yeah.
it. And, like, some of the stuff they did on that for just a TV show was just, like, so over the top and so
Hmm.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
But there's a scene that sticks up to me where, they had a deadite, like, the deadites, like, attacked them in, like a restaurant, and so you, like,
Yeah.
sliced the deadite's face off on a meat slicer.
Oh, hell yeah.
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 What you gonna say, though?
Oh, when you were talking about how like over the top it was, the first thing that popped into my head was when he was starting to lose it and like the stupid wall mount, the deer that came alive and it was like
Oh,
laughing at
yeah.
him and how all like the I was like, this is just nonsense, but I love every second of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, same here. Well, thanks for doing this. If you send me some
Yeah.
photos,
Thank
I
you.
will put it. If you send me some photos of like your haunt characters and stuff like that, I'll
Sure.
edit it into the video, so then
Sure.
people can
Yeah.
see your uh, haunt character as well.
Well, sure. I mean, this was fun. Thanks for asking me to do it. I was like, you want to do a podcast with me? Okay.
Yeah, yeah, I appreciate it. It's been nice chatting with you. Um, I hope you have a wonderful evening and all that good
I
stuff.
have one final question though.
Yeah,
I feel like I
yeah.
have to, because now I keep thinking about it. You said you liked Halloween. How
Yeah.
did you feel about Rob Zombie's Halloween?
I think that this is how I truly feel about it. I
Okay.
think it's its own thing. Just like the new
Yes.
Halloween movies are its own thing, because the
Yes.
original Halloween sequels were fucking terrible. They're
Yes.
awful, okay? Halloween
Yes.
3 is fucking awful, okay? Halloween
Yes.
2000 is awful. And if
Yes.
anyone says anything different, they're just
Wrong.
yeah, and so I
Yeah.
just feel like yeah, it's like a legendary character and stuff like that,
Sure.
but it was ruined anyway from the
Right.
original sequels. So what does it matter?
Yeah. I mean, I like the original, but I like have like a weird fascination with Rob Zombie anyway. Like, I'm 100% gay. But
Yeah.
if I was going to be with a man, for some reason in my head it's always been Rob Zombie. Like I would totally be with
Yeah.
Rob Zombie.
He seems like
I
a
would
cool
follow
guy.
him anywhere. Yeah.
Yeah, this here's a Rob Zombie patch. This one right here, the little
Sure
gobbler.
is. Yep.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I've seen him a few times. He's really cool
Oh, me
live.
too.
Yeah. He's deep down in here in my metalhead heart.
Oh, yeah.
So
100%. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
and with
My
Rob
first
Zombie.
CD,
Oh, was it?
Hillbilly
That's,
Deluxe. Yes.
oh, that's awesome. Yeah, my first
Yeah.
CD was the Bangers Ball, which is a compilation album of like a
Okay.
bunch of different like metal and hardcore bands back in
That's
the
cool.
day. So like
Yeah.
Hatebreed and bands like that.
Hatebreed. Oh my God. I haven't listened to Hatebreed in a long time. I used
Yeah.
to go hard to Hatebreed. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
Hatebreed
it's
goes
been
hard, man.
years.
Yeah, and
I'm gonna have to re-bring that up. I'm gonna have to
yeah,
Spotify that and do that this weekend. Yeah.
for a hardcore band, like they they have a really positive message for a hardcore band. You know, a lot of their music's
Yeah.
like pretty positive. Their shows are
Yeah.
wild though. I've seen them a
I
few
bet.
times. Wild.
Yeah.
Wild shows, yeah. Seen them
Yeah.
at Warp Tour one time.
Oh,
Huge,
Warp Tour. Yeah.
huge circle pit around the sound tent. It was wild. Great
Yeah.
times.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's taking now. I'm getting all nostalgic. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
Because and
Yeah.
then I think the last time I seen Hatebreed, they opened for Guar.
Oh, I bet that was good.
There's a Guar and Hatebreed tour, and that was wild. Guar still
I bet it
top
was.
Hatebreed, but Hatebreed
Sure.
is
Sure.
still fucking wild.
Yes. I bet that was a great time. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, there's just certain bands out there that they don't demand it, but they just like something about their music just like causes the crowd just to go into complete madness. You know what
Hmm.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's Hatebreed's
Yeah.
one of those bands. Knocked Loose is one of those bands. Like you go see Knocked Loose, you're in for a time and a half.
I don't know if I know who
Exodus,
that is.
they're like
Exodus, I
a
do.
they're like a hardcore band, if that makes
Sure.
sense. But yeah,
Yeah.
there's a few bands out there like you go see their show, and you know it's gonna be chaos.
Yeah. Yeah.
The Acacia Strain. I don't know if you've ever heard of the Acacia Strain,
Mm-mm. I don't
but
think so. I'm not good with names. Like I'll hear a song. I'm like, oh yeah, I've heard that song 100 times, but not good with names.
yeah, Acacia
People,
Strain, like
songs, bands, states,
yeah, like
any of it.
if you're not on the balcony at Acacia Strain or like standing like by the bar, you're probably
You're in
gonna get
trouble.
hit in the face. Yeah, like
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
shit gets wild.
Yeah. That's
Anyway,
awesome.
yeah. So, but yeah, Rob Zombie's amazing. Some of his movies have been hit or miss for me. You know,
Yeah.
like was it 31 or whatever that one is? That one's like
That one was kind of weird. That one and for some reason Lords of Salem didn't really hit for
yeah,
me, but man am I obsessed with all the House of Thousand Corpses movies. Like those first two, that and The Devil's Rejects.
yeah,
Chef's kiss.
great movies.
Yeah.
And then there's the Three from Hell. I'm glad that they wrapped up that whole
Yeah.
storyline, and
Yeah.
glad they gave Captain Spaulding like a definite end. You know,
Yeah.
because one of my favorite like just like horror characters in general is Captain Spaulding
Oh yeah,
because
he's great.
it's just so funny,
Yeah.
so funny. And I could see
I want to
like
go
an
to that place
actual
so bad.
yeah, and I could see like an actual Carney being
Yeah.
like Captain Spaulding,
Yeah.
which is kind
He
of
did
fucked up.
great. He did such a good job, and I think so many people like I think strive to be him or to bring that energy into their character, and it can totally be done if you do it right. But you have to have like that certain thing in you
Yeah,
to really pull it off. Yeah.
yeah, he has that. My favorite scene like of that whole series is like it's in the Devil's Rejects when they need that car and Captain
Yes.
Spaulding jacks that car
Yeah.
and the kid's still sitting in there. You know,
Yeah.
he's like, "What? Do you not like fucking clowns?" So
Yeah.
funny.
Don't you think we're fucking funny? And he's like, no. Yeah, it's great.
He's like, "Well, I'm gonna come back and ask you if you don't like clowns, I'm gonna kill your whole family."
Yeah.
So funny.
Perfect. It was perfect. Yes.
Yeah, that scene lives rent free in my head.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So that one in the Rob Zombie Halloween movie when the kid runs up to Michael Myers and he goes, "Are you a giant? Do you want to be friends?
Yeah. Yeah.
Bye."
Yeah, it's so cute. And he's just like, "Huh?" I was glad he didn't kill him though. You know what I mean? Because I could totally see him just like stomping on his face. But I was like, all right, Michael, I see a little piece. I see a little piece of you right there,
Right,
letting him run
right.
off. Good for you. Good for you.
Yeah. I don't
Yeah.
think they wanted to make it that extreme,
Yeah, it was just a small glimmer, just a little piece of glitter. I saw just a little tiny piece.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
People get weird when, kids are killed in horror movies and stuff like that. So,
Yeah. There's one movie that I will never watch just because what what's it called, a Serbian film.
okay, yeah. Yeah.
I haven't seen it, but from what people tell me that happens in that movie, I was like, the curious part of me like wants to check it out, but I don't like. Why would I want to? Nah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah. Have you seen it?
no, I haven't seen, but
Oh, okay.
the same reason I haven't watched this because I was just like, why would I watch this? This is fucking wild.
Has
So,
there been any movie where you've actually had to like pause it and not watch? There's only been one movie where I've actually had to pause it multiple times and like recenter myself to finish it.
not like recenter, but one thing that really did mess with me though is have you ever seen Hereditary?
I love that movie.
Okay, so the scene, like the first time I watched that movie, the scene where the kid loses his head,
Yeah.
I like I was just like, I just have to stop and just like be like, what did I just watch?
See,
Like
I
that
thought
is
that scene was like awesome. It was the end, the last 10 minutes where I was just like,
yeah, because that
the way
happens
that
like
movie ended.
yeah, that happens like pretty on in the early on in the movie, and then like the rest
Yeah.
of it's just like watching this family like just descend into madness. And I'm
Yeah.
not usually a fan of like paranormal movies like that, but that one's just
Yeah.
so well done, and I think a lot
So
of
well done.
uh, paranormal movies that are really popular these days should
Yeah.
strive to do something different like that. You
Oh
know?
yeah, it was so good. It's probably one of the best horror movies I've seen come out in a while. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? I agree with you. That one and was it The Empty Man? That's a wild one.
I will
I
have
think
to go see if I have that available to watch. I don't think I've seen that one.
yeah, it's wild. It's like I think it's a Netflix exclusive, but
Okay.
like these
I got
people
that.
like go on a hike and they find this shrine and this dude messes with the shrine and then just this dude's life just like devolves into chaos. But
Yeah.
it's not only like a horror movie, but it's also like kind of like a thriller. It's like a kind of a
Oh,
mixed
cool.
genre movie. It's wild.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, because what you
Nice. I'll
think
have
is
to check that
happening is
out.
actually not happening. You're like, what? When you get to then, you're like,
Yeah.
what did I just watch?
Perfect. I love movies like that. That's top tier stuff. Okay, good. Good.
Yeah, yeah. Do you have any movie recommendations?
Oh, yeah. I mean, um, there's the movie that made me have to pause three times was The Human Centipede 2.
Okay, I haven't seen the second one. I've seen the first one, but
The first one's like PG compared to the second one. Like it's in black and white, and I think they actually had to make it in black and white for people to really be able to get through it. Like I had to pause it three times, and I'll let you try to find or guess which three parts it was after you've seen it. But yeah, that one's really messed up. Um,
yeah.
I also really liked. I love As Above, So Below.
Okay, yeah, I've seen that.
Okay, you've seen
Yeah,
that one. I don't know why, but I'm obsessed with it. Like, I think I want to go to the catacombs anyway, but like something about that movie, I'm like, I want to go
yeah,
there and check
for
that
sure.
out for sure. Yeah. I'm sure you've seen Midsummer then.
Yeah, yeah. Wild,
I
wild
was afraid
movie.
to one. Green Inferno.
No, I haven't seen that. I've seen like Green Hell, but I don't think I've seen Green Inferno.
I
I have
think
to
you would
check that one out.
enjoy Green
Yeah.
Inferno. That one's
Okay.
really good. I don't want to give any of it away, but that was a really good one where I was like, oh, this is the direction that's going. That's fucked up. I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll have to check it
Green
out.
Inferno is pretty good. I also really liked it's a French film. What was it called? High Tension.
Okay. Huh. I haven't seen that. I'll have to check that out. You got to do
Yeah,
it in
that's a pretty good one.
subtitles or what?
I think you might be able to watch it dubbed
Okay.
or they have it subtitles. I think it's dubbed. I used to have it on DVD and I think it was a dubbed version, but that's a really good ending type of twisty, like kind of suspenseful, messed up
Sure.
movie to watch. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Good to know. I'll have to check that out because I
Yeah,
like
for
stuff
sure.
like that. So, all
Let
right.
me know what
Well,
you think.
for sure. Yeah, I'll send you a text. All
Okay. Cool.
right. Cool. It's nice doing this with you.
Yeah, you too, man. Thanks. Anytime,
Yeah.
just let me know.
Yes.